Let's start. Module A. We'll be dealing in all the important formulae as such as I told you in module A, B, C, D. In module A, first Incoterms. This Incoterms question is asked in 2-3 forms. Okay. One is your normal Incoterms question. What is this? What is that? What is XWorks? What is CFR? And it is asked in the numericals also. So you must be very clear in your Incoterms. Number one. Let's see. Firstly, look at this exchange rates and forex business. Forward rate equals to spot plus premium or minus discount. Keep this basic logic very clear. Forward equals to spot plus premium minus discount. Don't confuse forward rate with TT margin because many of the students confuse forward rate with TT margin. I'll cover that also later. Okay. So forward rate is very simple, spot rate plus premium or spot rate minus discount. Now look at the Incoterms. First is XWorks. XWorks means what? See here, XWorks Jamnagar or XWorks Pune. It means what? I'll just put the goods outside this place, whatever is given. Pune, Jamnagar, or I can give me factory. I can write it that way also. XWorks factory. So just outside my factory, I'll hand over the goods to you. And then my responsibility is over. Okay. Then second is CFR. Cost and freight. So here cost means manufacturing cost plus freight. Freight means named port of destination. Means there it can be written like this: CFR Chennai port, CFR Kandla port, like this. Okay. So cost and freight. So it means what? You cover the cost as well as the freight. Freight means what? The logistics cost of that ship. That is freight. The ticket, you call it simple, the ticket of that ship. Okay. CIF, cost, insurance and freight. Here you cover cost, freight and additionally insurance. Who covers this? You cover means what? It is the responsibility of the seller. Here everything we are talking about is of the seller. Okay. So seller will cover this. Here the responsibility is going on increasing of the seller. Look at this. Now it's better. CIF. Then CPT. Now this CPT is not used in ships. It is used in mainly airway bill, means air, railway, or your truck, anything other than ship. CPT is similar to carriage paid to. This is similar to CFR. Carriage paid to means named place of destination, CPT Dubai. So this third is generally same as that of the first one. CFR is used in your ships. CPT is used in other modes of transport. Okay, there is something modes of transport. Now let me cover that also. There is a term called as combined bill of lading. They ask you many times in exam, or multimodal they call it. Okay, so modes of transport means various modes of transport. It can be I can send the goods from my factory to the port via truck, from truck port to your port. If you are in USA, then your port via ship, from that place, from that port to your place again via truck. Okay, anything I can do. So that is called as multimodal. So now CPT is carriage paid to, and CIP. This is similar to the second one, CIF. Carriage and insurance paid to. Okay, so this 2 and 4 are same. Only the difference is CFR and CIF are used in ships. CPT and CIP are used in this other modes. Okay. Next, look at this Incoterm. FCA, free carriage. Okay, this is used in ships. Free carriage Mumbai means free carriage JNPT something. Free carriage means I'll place the goods, okay, in this ship, only that. Or FAS, generally this FCA, free carriage, this is used in terms of your trucks other than ship. Okay, for this ships we use FAS, free alongside ship. This FCA is not used in ships, huh? It's used in truck and other modes. FAS, okay? FAS, free alongside ship. So free alongside ship means what? It means that I'll place the goods on the sides of the ship, means on the jetty, along the jetty, okay? FAS. So free alongside ship. I'll just put it along that movie fights which we see in our normal movies, right? Last fight, containers, then the hero jumps, all that. That is all jetty near the port. So goods are kept there. So exporters, sellers' responsibility is over there. Then FOB, free on board. Here the goods are kept by the seller on the ship, loaded on the ship. It's called as on board. This is the main payment method, or this is the main criteria for your pre-shipment. Okay. Then DAT, delivery at terminal. Now this DAT is gone. Now it is DAP. We have DAT is gone now. Under Incoterms 2020, DAT is not there. So now it is DAP, delivery at place. Okay. So instead of this DAT, now make it DAP, delivery at place. So DAP Sharjah means at place, whatever place you say. But here in DAP, I'll tell you, in DAP kindly note, the customs at the importer side is unpaid. Unpaid means seller will not pay the customs at the importer side. Okay. DDP. DDP means delivery duty paid. This is DPU. This is DDU actually. DDU. DDU. Delivery duty unpaid. Okay. DDU and DDP. DDU means delivery duty unpaid. Okay. Delivery duty unpaid. This is the Incoterm actually. Delivery duty unpaid. Okay. Means the seller has not paid the customs duty at the importer side. Then DDP, delivery duty paid. All the responsibility lies on the seller over here. Complete responsibility. Okay. So DDP means all the customs duty, all the charges will be paid by the seller, and the goods will be made available at the buyer site. See this, the responsibility chart is given over here. Okay. Who gives what responsibility? See this. Everything is mentioned, and these are the Incoterms. You can go through them. Ex-works, warehouse service, it is given by the seller. Export packing, seller. Now everything is of the buyer remaining. Look at this, loading, origin, inland freight, all this. Now it goes on increasing. Look at this FAS. Seller, see this seller is going on increasing. FCA, seller is going on increasing. So in the end, if you see DDP, you will see everything by seller. Here it was everything by buyer on the left side, right? Next. Forward differential equals to, now how to find out the forward differential? This formula is also asked many times, forward differential. So forward differential equals to spot into interest rate differential into period upon 12 months. This is very simple. This is PNR upon 100. P is the spot, interest is R, period is N. So PNR upon 100. Okay. Only it is in months. That's why we divide this by 12 months and divided by 100. Whenever you have interest, divided by 100 without fail. For cross currency, the calculations in a two-way quote, bid rate should always be multiplied to the bid rate. Ask rate should also always be multiplied to the ask rate. Keep it very simple. Bid will be multiplied to bid, and ask, or we call it offer, anything. Bid, ask, offer, anything, one and the same thing. Or we call it sell also. Buy with buy, sell with sell. Anything is same. So you will multiply this bid rate with bid rate and ask rate with ask rate. I have taken certain numericals in my marathon also on this. TT buying rate calculation. So spot rate minus exchange margin. See this TT buying we are calling it. Okay. Whenever we are, that's why I said earlier also, don't confuse this with forward. In forward, you have premium and discount. Here, you have only buying and selling. Whenever you are buying, then spot minus exchange margin. Whenever you are selling, then spot plus exchange margin. Okay. Selling means spot plus exchange margin. Kindly remember, selling is spot plus exchange margin. Don't forget this. Buying is spot minus exchange margin. The formula used for calculating the forward rate is, so what is the formula for calculating the forward rate? 1 plus home currency interest rate upon 1 plus foreign currency interest rate is equal to end of the period forward rate upon spot rate. Means forward rate or spot rate. Okay. So the formula used for calculating the forward rate is this. Okay. 1 plus home currency interest rate upon 1 plus foreign currency interest rate. Whatever is that interest rate, add 1 on both the sides. Then you will be getting this forward rate. Okay. These forward points you will be getting. Forward premium. Forward premium means forward rate minus spot rate upon spot rate. How to calculate this? Forward rate minus spot rate upon spot rate. Okay. So that is forward premium. Got it, everyone? Next. What are the various types of your transactions? Types and calculation. Ready or cash, T plus 0. Okay. T plus 0 means we have these 4 terms which we have. First is cash ready, second is Tom, third is spot, and fourth is derivative. Means not derivative, forward. Okay. What is cash ready? Cash ready means T plus 0. Settlement is done on the same day. Now what do you mean by settlement? See here, if I give you, you are selling me, let's say, gold. I am giving you rupees. Okay. Then settlement means what? If I give you rupees, when will you give me gold? That is settlement. Okay. So whenever you are giving me the gold on the same day, it's called as cash. T plus 0. I give you rupees today, you give me gold today only. Tom means T plus 1. I'll give you gold today, cash today, you give me this gold tomorrow. Tomorrow means not exactly tomorrow. It means working day. Whenever you are working next. Suppose if I give you cash on Saturday, many times what happens, Sunday is holiday. So you'll give me gold on Monday. So Tom, working day. Spot. Spot means second working day. Second it's called as a T plus 2. So I'll give you cash today. You give me gold after on the second working day. Second working day. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay. Working day. Forward means any day after spot. Any day after spot is called as forward. Okay. Forward rate equals to what? Spot plus premium minus discount. Again and again I am repeating because you will be getting numericals on this. Okay. Bill buying is equal to spot plus forward premium minus exchange margin. This is a basic formula used for any buying and selling. For buying it is spot plus forward premium minus TT margin or exchange margin. And for selling it is spot plus exchange margin, okay, plus this bill selling, means whatever. If it is premium, then add. In forward, kindly remember, basic logic is whenever you have premium, you add. Let it be buy or sell. Whenever you have a discount, you subtract. And in exchange, kindly remember, if you are buying, you will subtract. If you are selling, you will add. Simple. Okay. So these are the important formulae in your module A. Okay. Now module B. Now module B. First is Cook's ratio. Now Cook's ratio can also be called as CRAR ratio or CAR ratio, capital adequacy ratio. Okay. Cook's ratio is an important ratio for calculation of CRAR, capital to risk weighted asset ratio. The ratio is capital upon RWA. Now capital includes two parts, tier 1 and tier 2. Look at this, tier 1 and tier 2. Okay. There is also a third capital called as tier 3, that I'll cover it later. Right now tier 1 and tier 2. In calculations we take only tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 means free capital. Tier 2 means paid capital. Tier 1 you don't have to make any compulsory interest payment or anything. Tier 2 you have to make some interest payment because that is a borrowed capital. Tier 1 is known as going concern. Tier 2 is known as gone concern. Tier 1 has two parts, CET1 and AT1. Common equity tier 1 and additional tier 1. CET1 has four elements. Okay. Common share, reserves and surplus, net profit, and revaluation reserves. But revaluation reserves are taken at 55% discount. So they are taken at 45% value. Additional tier 1 has two parts, PNCP and IPDI. Perpetual non-cumulative preference shares and IPDI is innovative perpetual debt instruments. So this is total tier 1. Tier 2 has various paid methods of payment like subordinate debt, or subordinate means taking loan from somebody, or some reserves. Okay, so that is tier 2. RWA has three RWAs: credit RWA, market or RWA, and ops RWA. RWA means risk weighted asset. What do you mean by risk weighted asset? It means that whatever loan you have, suppose if you have a haircut factor, then apply haircut factor to the collateral and reduce the collateral. If you have the haircut factor for the loan, apply haircut factor for the loan and increase the loan. Kindly note, haircut factor is to be increased for loans and it is to be decreased for collateral. So this is Cook's ratio. Now what does it say? Here, if you are CET1 common equity tier 1, what does RBI say? Minimum CET1 should be 5.5%. Okay, minimum. Now if your bank is maintaining it higher, many of the nationalized banks are maintaining quite high. So if your CET1 is higher than 5.5, then what? Now look at it. If your CET1 is, let's say 5.5%, up to 5.5 or 0.5.5, then okay, let's consider this range only which is given in your book, 5.5 to 6.125. If you have this CET1, then the CCB, capital conservation buffer. Now what is this CCB? CCB means this is a capital conservation buffer in the Basel III. It is 2.5%. It is always calculated on CET1 and it is additional other than 9%. 9% is your regular CRAR. Okay, look at the bifurcation. CET1 is 5.5 minimum, additional tier 1 is 1.5, so it becomes 7, plus 2% tier 2, so it becomes 9. After this 9 you add CCB, capital conservation buffer, that is 2.5, so it becomes 11.5. Your CRAR becomes 11.5. Okay, so in 2021 RBI has clearly told that all the banks need to maintain the CCB now. So your CRAR is 9%, and if you add the CCB it becomes 11.5%. So what does RBI say? If your CET1 is higher than 5.5 to 6.125, then your CCB is 100%. Means you have to maintain complete 2.5%, whatever your CCB is there. 2.5% you have to maintain. If your CET1 is 6.125 to 6.75, then you have to maintain 80% of 2.5%. Understand this, 80% of 2.5%. So it will be 80% into 2.5%. That much you will have to maintain. If your CET1 is 6.75% to 7.375%, you will have to maintain CET1 as CCB as 60% of 2.5%. So everywhere it is multiplied by 2.5. 7.375% to 8%. You'll have to maintain 40% of 2.5. This is all CCB. And if your CET1 is greater than 8%, then no need to maintain any CCB. Okay. So this is the important criteria. Remember at least these two figures. This one 5.5 to 6.125 is 100% and greater than 8% CET1. It is this CCB is 0%. Okay. Next, BPV formula, basis point valuation formula. Now basis point valuation means what? It is a sensitivity tool for market risk. Okay. One is BPV and second is duration approach, modified duration. Okay, study that later. And now I won't go into details. Okay. So BPV formula is asked many times or numerical is asked. Change in value into 0.01 upon change in the interest rate. Simple. Change in value into change upon into 0.01 upon change in the interest rate. Okay. Got it? Simple, clear. Haircut. Central and state government securities. Now one thing you note. Central and state government securities, if the residual maturity is up to 1 year, then the haircut applied is 0.5%. If it is 1 year to 5 year, then the haircut applied is 2%. If the maturity is greater than 5 years, then the haircut applied is 4%. But there is a problem in this. The problem is government securities are not rated in India. Not. Now this is a universal formula. This whatever is given is a universal formula. Throughout the world it is followed. But in our country, we don't rate government securities. It's called a sovereign rating. Kindly remember this line. Okay. Next, domestic debt securities. Okay. Rated AAA, AA and A1. Means if you have domestic debt securities, now these are not government securities. These are private debentures with the ratings AAA, AA and A1. Then the residual maturity is up to 1 year. Then you have 1% of this haircut. Okay. If your residual maturity is 1 year to 5 year, haircut is 4%. Greater than 5 years, it is 8%. Okay. Next, domestic debt securities having a rate of A and BBB. A and BBB. If the residual maturity is up to 1 year, then the haircut is 2%. If it is 1 year to 5 year, it is 6%. If it is greater than 5 years, it is 12%. Remember these ratings and the haircut. Cash, FD, certificate of deposit, NSC, KVP, LIC, these policies in the same currency have 0% haircut. No haircut is applied on all these FD, certificate of deposit, NSC, KVP, life insurance policies in the same currency. Kindly note, if the currency is different, then it becomes 8%. Let me show you that also. Whenever you see, this is called as HFX. Okay, I'll come to this. Wait. Okay. This we have done. Yeah, now this. Standard haircut for currency risk. See this HFX, what I was talking of. Standard haircut for currency risk is 8%. Okay. That is exposure collateral in different currencies. Means what? Exposure in rupees and collateral in dollars or vice versa. Gold purity, the haircut is 15%. Purity of 99.99%. Okay. Unrated securities, the haircut is 25%. Kindly remember these figures. Calculation of capital. See this formula. How to calculate a capital requirement? It is maximum of either 0 or E into 1 plus HE minus C into 1 minus HC minus HFX. This formula you will have to remember by heart. Okay. E is known as the adjusted exposure, max, 0 or this. So E is exposure after mitigation, means adjusted. E normally is the current exposure. Okay. HE is haircut on exposure. Okay. C is current value of the collateral. HC is haircut on collateral. HFX is haircut appropriate for currency mismatch between collateral and exposure. Okay. Now, as I told you, HFX is applicable only when there's a difference in the currency between the loan and the collateral. Now, If the collateral is a basket of assets, now what do you mean by basket of assets? If there are two or more assets, means one example I have taken in the live classes also, that the loan is backed by one is this RBI bonds, and second one it is backed by AAA rated bonds, debentures. So these, if it's a basket of assets, then what? Then the sum total of A1 into H1 means AI into HI, means basically this weighted average. Okay, A1 is the weight of assets in the basket and H1 is a haircut applicable to that asset. Got it? Now next, what is this collateral? See this, C equals to adjusted collateral. C into means original collateral into 1 minus HC minus HFX into maturity factor. This already I have explained. See this, HC is the haircut for collateral, HFX is the haircut for Forex, MF is the haircut for the maturity factor. E star equals to maximum of 0 or E into 1 plus HE minus C star. So either of these, 0 or this, maximum of this. Okay. What is maturity factor? Remember this formula by heart, maturity factor. T minus 0.25 upon T minus 0.25. This upper T, smaller T is for your collateral and our bigger T is for the loan. See this, collateral maturity and exposure maturity. Got it? Clear? Next. Now look at these factors. HFX. Now this is very simple. Already I have told you, if there is a difference in the currency, okay, only then this 8% will work. If it's the same currency loan and collateral, then it will be 0. Okay. Now look at the MF. So this is fast. You need not waste your time. Only understand different currency 8%, same currency 0. Maturity factor mismatch. Exposure collateral. Okay. If it is 6 years, 6 years means both are of the same maturity. Then maturity factor is 1. No problem in that. If 3 years is the exposure and collateral is 6 months, then maturity factor is 0. Remember these are 5 years, 4 years, then as per the formula. 4 years, 5 years as per the formula. See here, 2 are important. Same is 1 and 3 years and 6 months. Now it can be greater than 3 also. If this is 5, then also 0. Okay, minimum is 3 years. Got it? What is this formula? This formula is this one. As per the formula means this MF, this one, this T minus 0.25 upon T minus 0.25. Okay. Next, Altman Z score. Now this topic is, it was not, means it comes in either here of the three, ABM or BFM or ABFM. Either of these three subjects, this topic is there definitely. Generally ABM doesn't have it. Generally I'm talking, means you can't. I have seen an exam of ABM also in which Altman Z score was asked. Not this, almost 2-3 years back, means few years back. So it can be asked in anything, ABM, BFM or ABFM. But you need to understand this very clearly. What is the Altman Z score? Here it gives you the chances of any company becoming bankrupt in next 12 months. Next 12 months. Okay. So there are 5 ratios to it. Okay. We call it X1, X2, X3, X4, X5. Some books call it A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E. In the classes I have taken A, B, C, D, E. So you can call it anything. So what is this X1? It is working capital upon total assets. Okay, this ratio you need to remember, working capital upon total assets. Kindly remember, everything is total assets, denominator, except this X4. Everything else is total assets. So X1 is what? Working capital upon total assets. X2 is what? Retained earnings upon total assets. X3 is what? Earning before interest and taxation, EBIT, upon total assets. X4 is what? Market value of equity upon total liability. That is X4. X5 is what? Sales upon total assets. Okay, so remember these ratios. Again revise this before going to the exam. Weightages are 1.2, 1.4, 3.3, 0.6 and 1. Okay, so this is the basic formula of Altman Z score. Z equals to 1.2 x1 plus 1.4 x2, 3.3 x3, 0.6 x4 and 1 x5. Okay. So this is basically Altman Z score. Now VAR, value at risk. Value at risk equals to volume into volatility into probability. Simple rule. Okay. So Z value at 99% confidence is 2.33. Now I'll give you one more which is not given over here. Okay, let me first cover these one. 99 is 2.33, 95 is 1.65, 90% is 1.28. Okay,